In today's Smash Cake behind the scenes video, we salute those who are about to rock. Welcome back, you guys. My name is Daniel Troutman with the SmashCake.com, your online resource for free Smash Cake photography training. And thanks so much for coming back in today. Today, I have something special for you guys. I love this set. Today, we are building a rock and roll inspired set because once upon a time when I actually had hair, I used to hang out at the Whiskey in LA. And yes, occasionally I caught an act over at the Viper Room, and that left a really big impression on me. So when it comes time to shoot something that I want to shoot, well, naturally I gravitate towards the rock and roll LA kind of vibe, which is what we are shooting today. Now that brings me to a very good point. As a visual artist, you need to go ahead and you need to put your own personality into your work. If you can do that, then there is no other photographer in your market that is going to be able to steal your look because it comes from right up here. Now that is super important, and you also need to remember that not every parent wants to see their kid in a soft, fluffy, cuddly set. Some parents really do like something with a little more attitude. With that being said, let's go ahead and build ourselves today's set with a whole lot of attitude. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with how we built this set, but I want you guys to know, and I really want to make a note, that the lighting is really what makes today's set possible. And I'm going to go ahead and go into detail at the end of this video about the lighting, but you're not going to want to miss it. So don't drop out, watch it all the way to the end, otherwise you won't know how to light this thing the way we did to get the look that we got today. So for those of you who watch our behind the scenes videos all the time, you know I always start with a backdrop, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. Today we're starting with a 10x6 vinyl backdrop that we got off of the SmashCake.com. Now all of the links to all of the gear and all of the props will be, of course, in the description section of this video. Should you want to recreate this set in its entirety, you have my permission, and now you have all the links you need to get it done. Now the backdrop is really stinking cool because it looks exactly like what you would expect to see if you were in the front row of a rock concert. It has the colored lights, the smoky atmosphere, the drum sets, the microphones, the guitars. It's all there, and it's all in our backdrop. Now the cool part about this backdrop is it is very, very inexpensive. It is under 50 bucks, and you can go ahead and reuse it again and again and again. The thing you need to know about ordering vinyl backdrops in the mail is that they will come folded up, and when you unfold them, well, you are going to have to deal with all of those wrinkles like we are today. But because they're so inexpensive, it really is worth your time to, invest in the steamer, save a bunch of money on your backdrops, and spend some time steaming out those wrinkles. The next thing we do is always pick out the floor, and today's floor is going to be seamless because we're smashing cakes on it, and it is very, very easy to clean up. All you have to do is cut the paper away from the roll when you're done, and then wad the whole thing up, cake and all, and just throw it in the dumpster, and you are done. That is your cleanup. So the question remains, what color seamless paper are we going to use? Now, what I like to do is really just pull a color from the background. I take a good look at the background and I pick out one of my favorite colors in that background, and then I get this guy right here. This is a Savage paper guide. It's a chip chart, and basically it is all of the seamless papers that the Savage Corporation makes. And I go ahead and match that to my favorite color in the backdrop. Now today we went ahead and used Ruby right there, number 67, and we decided to pull some purple that exists in the backdrop. Now as we're rolling it out, I realized that that dark, grungy vibe that I was going for is being ruined because that Ruby paper really is reflecting a lot of light. It just brightened up the whole set, and it took away that dark, grungy vibe that I was really trying to create. So what we did instead was just go ahead and replace that Ruby roll with a straight black, and it looked fantastic. Now there's a problem with using straight white, straight black, or straight any color without anything else behind the baby, and that problem is that when you're shooting a downward angle, you're shooting from above onto the baby, and that baby looks up at the camera and their eyes are just big and beautiful, and it's just the greatest shot ever. You take that picture and that shot is going to be just a touch boring if there's nothing behind the baby. So instead of using confetti today, which is what I normally use, today I went ahead and used pre-cut metallic paper stars. I just went ahead, grabbed a bunch of those stars, and I used glue dots to affix them to the floor, because if I were to just spread them out on the floor, that little one would kick them everywhere and I wouldn't be able to have an established pattern like I did today. So use the glue dots if you're gonna use the metallic stars on the seamless. Now, I don't have to tell you guys that picking the right prop for your set is hugely important because the props tell the story. And if they don't fit the scene, well, then they tell the story incorrectly or they blow the illusion. So with that in mind, today we decided to go ahead and ask ourselves one question while we were picking out our props. And that question was, would Vince Neil, Axl Rose, or Steven Tyler find any of these items on stage with them while they were giving a concert? If the answer was yes, well, we kept the prop. And if the answer was no, we got rid of it. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the props that we kept for today's set. The very first prop that we're using today is a microphone, and this one actually plays music, which is great because you can push a button and all of a sudden your little one will start to dance to that music. And when that happens, it is super cute and you are going to get some fantastic images. Now, the next thing you need at a rock concert, obviously, are electric guitars. And we found these little Paper Jam electric guitars at Goodwill. We love these things. We've been using them for years. They look like the real deal. They're light enough for your subject to carry them. And bonus, they also play music. So again, at the push of a button, we can get our client dancing and create some great images. Now, the next prop in today's list, I don't mind telling you that I straight up stole it from my son's room. Now, my son is a bass player and he has amplifiers kicking around, and I straight up snagged this one and I don't even think that he noticed. So the lesson today is don't be afraid to go around your house and find items you already own that fit your set. Now, while we're on the subject of things that I straight up stole for today's shoot, let's talk about the milk crate. My studio is above a restaurant, and every so often I will run down there and I will steal a couple milk crates off their loading dock, sanitize them, put them in a smash cake set, and when I'm done with them, of course, I return them because, well, free is our friend, right? Now, for those of you who weren't raised by hyenas and stealing is against your moral code, definitely use the link in the description section of this video to source a milk crate without the risk of jail time. Now, continuing on with my crime spree, I straight up stole this one from my daughter. This is a makeup caboodle, and it looks like something that you would actually find backstage at a rock concert. So I swiped it, and it came to work with me. Now, once I got all of those props in place, I definitely realized that it looked like a behind-the-scenes shot at a rock concert, which is exactly what I was going for, but what it didn't look like was a first birthday smash cake set. So I had to kind of baby this up just a touch. To do that, we decided to turn to some of our old Smash Cake favorite props that we covered in this video right up there, our 5 favorite props, and we brought them back for today's shoot, but we didn't want the set to be too baby, to be too squishy, so we kept all of our props in kind of a black theme. Now, the first go-to Smash Cake prop that we used was a black paper lantern. This gave us a bunch of shape, and it really reflected a lot of light on the set in a very cool way. So we threw a couple of those back there, and we absolutely loved them. Then we noticed that the set was getting very black, very dark, and we needed to definitely bring the light levels up a little bit. So what we decided to do was use some pom-poms. Now, these aren't tissue paper pom-poms that we always use. These are the metallic pom-poms. They're made out of kind of a metallic mylar, and they really reflected a lot of light on today's set. Also, to reflect a lot of light, we added a bunch of metallic sequin-like fabric. Now, this is something that David Bowie used to bring on stage with him all the time. Steven Tyler, same thing. They always have sequins or some sort of reflective, very cool fabric with them, and it adds to the look, I think. And so that's exactly what we did. We went to Hobby Lobby and we scored ourselves some sequin fabric, and we just put it on top of some of those crates back there in the back, and it really gave an added pop to the overall set. Last but not least on the list is the metal O&E with the light bulbs in it. We really felt that this kind of fit the theme, and it got the point across that this was a first birthday. Now, I went back and watched a couple of our last behind the scenes videos, and I realized that it looks like we never make mistakes when we design these sets. So today, I want to go ahead and show you one of the mistakes that we made, and that was to use a banner. We decided to match the stars on the floor with a star banner in the background. But when I got it up there and I got a really good look at it, it really blew the illusion of the live music venue. It just kind of took away from the look that we were going for. So ultimately, we decided to Vox Nix that thing and get rid of it and not use it. Now, while we're on the subject of things that didn't work, let's talk about the smoke machine. This thing was a huge, embarrassing failure. I decided that I wanted to recreate the smoke that existed in the backdrop, and I decided to use the smoke machine. And when I did, I set that thing off and smoke went everywhere, and I just couldn't see my subject. It was just too overpowering. So we decided to go ahead and shut that down and get rid of it. Now, back in the beginning of this video, I did hint at the fact that we would be talking about lighting, and we have hit that point. We're going to go ahead and talk about lighting because it is absolutely crucial to get the kind of effect you're going for. You have to light it right. You cannot just throw light all over the set because it would ruin the ambiance. So let's go ahead and cover how I kept it dark while still lighting the baby. All right, everybody, starting at the beginning, we're going to go with the main light. And today's main light is a Flashpoint evolv 600 in a 5-foot Octobox. Now, the first question you're probably going to ask is, that is a huge modifier. How do you keep all that light off the background? And it's pretty simple. We're going to use a little thing called the inverse square law, and I'm not going to get into that, but all you really need to know is if you keep your main light away from your background, the light will fall off before it ever touches that background. So today, distance is key. Now, there's about 6 feet. There's a backdrop, and then 6 feet, and then there's the child, and there's probably another 6 feet, and then there's my modifier. And that allows the light to fall off before it ever touches the background and ever gets a chance to ruin the ambiance that we worked so hard to create. Now comes the fun part. Check out the backdrop. What you're going to find is in that background, there are some stage lights up there at the top of different colors, turquoise, purple, yellow. They're all up there like they would be in a live music venue. But they're not emitting any light. It's just a drawing. So what we're going to do is go ahead and put lights up there where those lights already are in the background and just gel them the same color and hit the baby from behind with those different colored gels. And it's going to make a very cinematic environment. It's going to make it look as if that baby is in a live music event. He is going to match the background, which is the goal to creating a set. So the lights we're using to work all of this really cool magic back here are the Flashpoint evolv 200, the Flashpoint Explorer 600, and another Flashpoint evolv 200. And when you have all of your lights with all of your different colored gels, what's going to actually happen here is when that light comes from behind, it's going to crisscross. And you're going to get some really cool looking multicolored shadows that are crisscrossing each other. And it really kind of adds to the whole rock star vibe. Now, you can go ahead and go to a photography store and buy these little gels. This is made for a speed light, and you can buy packs of these, and they run about $20 for a pack of, 5 to 10 of them. Or you can do what I do, and what I did when I was making this set behind me, well, I went ahead and went to Hobby Lobby, and I grabbed some of this. This is shrink wrap for gift baskets. This isn't photography related gear, and it doesn't come with the photography gear price tag. This huge sheet of blue gel was $2.99. So sometimes you can go to Hobby Lobby and repurpose some stuff and save yourself a ton of money, which is exactly what we did today. Now, last but not least on the lighting, we did have a Godox AD600 on set as well. And yes, Godox and Flashpoint, they work seamlessly together because they are, in a sense, the exact same light. So you can mix Flashpoint and Godox together and they work flawlessly. And today the Godox is just kicking a little bit of light into the background because I felt like the background with a lot of the black was just kind of going too dark and we just needed a little bit of a kick. All right, everybody. Well, now it's time to go ahead and take a look at some of the pictures that we created on today's set. But before we do, in order to keep this video short, I glossed over that lighting section and there was a lot going on there. So if you have any questions, please feel free to hit me up in the comments section below. That set and those photos were a ton of fun to create, and if you want to see us having more fun, definitely check us out on thesmashcake.com. And for those of you who want to stay right here on YouTube and you don't want the party to end, definitely check out those videos over there where you will see more of, well, all of this. Now, until next week, you guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Daniel Troutman, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye-bye.